Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to the 9 p.m. English News Edition. Here are the top stories. The head of state participates in ILO Virtual Global Summit. The international news: the United States officially withdraws from the WHO. Hello, welcome to our newsroom for having the news in details. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Margay, took part today, Wednesday, in the proceedings of a World Summit of the International Labour Organization, ILO, under the aegis of the Director General of this United Nations agency, Mr. Guy Ryder. The two-day summit from 7th to 19th July was held by video conference and brought together some 50 heads of state and government, heads of state or head of the United Nations system, including the Secretary General Mr. Antonio Guterres and many leaders from the trade union and professional sectors. The agenda of this summit was devoted to the elaboration of an inclusive plan of action on the effect of the coronavirus in the world work. Several topics were also discussed during this virtual summit. The identification of events and factors likely, like the COVID-19 crisis, is to affect the balances on which the world work is based was discussed. The discussion were then extended to the definition of strategies enabling the international community to take a more collegial, united approach to the challenges and vulnerabilities to which the world of work may become subject. In a statement made at the summit by video conference, the President of the Republic recalled the measures taken by his government to ensure effective national solidarity with regard to the financial and economic disparities created in Djibouti by the COVID-19 crisis. The government has put in place a compensatory indemnity for employees and the deferral of social charge to the enterprises in order to avoid brutal economic layoffs, the head of state said in that regard. President Gele then devoted another part of his speech to the formulation of a series of ideas conducive to realization of greater mutual assistance among the nations of the world around the problems and challenges related to the world of work. We believe that the urgency is more than ever placed in the extension of universal social security coverage that must protect the income of each worker, he suggests. Employment insurance adapted to our economic, universal and equitable context should no longer be a utopia, but an attainable goal that we set for ourselves in the coming years, he argued in this regard. And the head of state of Djibouti sees sustainable job security through the need to set up an exceptional mobilization of financial resources and more effective, visible and sustainable international solidarity based on a case-by-case aid plan that takes into account diverse needs of each country. Now, the Conference of Presidents met today in the chairmanship of the Speaker of National Assembly, His Excellency Mohammed Ali Hamid. The aim is to set the agenda for the activity of the national representation in accordance with Rules 12 and 22 of the Rules of Procedure of the Parliamentary Institution. The government was represented at the conference by the Prime Minister, His Excellency Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, and the Minister of Defense in charge of relations with Parliament, His Excellency Hassan Omar Mohammed Burhan. The meeting was attended by the two Vice Presidents, also the Chairman of the Standing Committees and the General Reporter of the Budget. On the substance of the deliberation, 7 draft laws were transmitted by the conference to the competent committees, these texts being entitled as follows: Draft Law number 88 AN 28th, which amends certain provisions of legislation on civil procedure, Finance Bill number 82, the budget of the financial year 2020. The Draft Law number 9 AN 28th L on the ratification of the concessional financing agreement relating to the Damadok Power Plant Project 3. A draft law number 91 AN 28th to ratify the concessional financing agreement relating to the additional financing for the development response to displacement impact on the Horn of Africa project. Financing agreement relating to the project for the elaboration of economic policy and management and development of statistics. Agreement relating to the emergency locust control response. Draft law number 94 AN 20 to ratify the charter of the Educational Cooperation Organization ACO. Well, what about the evolution of COVID-19 in our country? 225 tests were carried out, 23 patients were declared cured, 11 tests were positive, 0 cases of death. Data from the last 24 hours indicate that this is a low proportion in which the COVID-19 epidemic is estimated. This is evidence that the government's efforts have brought the epidemic under sustainable control in the territory. In accordance with the COVID-19 plan, the government decided yesterday to open the air borders from July 17, 2020. To this end, all the conditions are met, notable by the establishment of a reception and systematic control system, the PCR test at the airport to ensure the virological status of each passenger coming from abroad. All these drastic measures constitute a hermetic bulwark against any new intrusion of cases of COVID-19 on our territory. Finally, the overall result can be summarized as follows. 48,636 tests have been carried out, 4,889 people were diagnosed positive for COVID-19, 4,644 cases were declared cured, and 55 deaths have been recorded since the beginning of the pandemic in the Republic of Djibouti. Please remain vigilant. Now, the head of the Water Production Department, Ahmed Ahmed, yesterday supervised the renovation works of water supplies pipes in the Balbala sector. These works took place in the Oniad barracks located in the Bombaj district. The aim of this gigantic work carried out by the head of the Water Production Department is to prevent the pipes from deteriorating due to their age. It will be replaced by the cross-linked polyethylene PA pipe, also known as Plymouth pipe, which is the most commonly used material. It has the advantage of being very resistant, quick to assemble, and seamless. Plus, its lifespan is about 50 years, and it retains less limestone than copper. In a short reaction to the national channel, the head of the Water Production Department of the Oniat, Yusuf Ahmed, explained to us the main reason for this work. Now, after precautionary measures were implemented to prevent the COVID-19 pandemic from closing the border by air and sea, most Djiboutians are spending their summer holidays in the interior this summer. In this report, we highlight the seaside resort in Arta region. Let's listen to Dini Musa.
Located 30 minutes from the capital and only 800 meters above sea level, it is a different environment, a different climate that is Arta. Arta is famous for its hiking, its beautiful beach, and its whale sharks. But in this period of health crisis, or travel abroad is impossible and the heat is stifling. What better escape than to combine a mild climate and the entertainment activities that the region offers? The proximity to the capital and especially its climate have attracted many Djiboutian summer visitors. In the afternoons, young holiday makers mix those from the city to watch or share a game of football. Meanwhile, others prefer to stay on the terrace of small cafeterias, a nice way to meet around the coffee since the reopening after 2 months of confinement due to coronavirus. The holidaymakers who come from the majority of the capital for the weekend, settled for the hot season, all have the same feeling about the fun summer getaway in Arta. I often come to Arta simply because it's good for tourism, just as well. Even if we have to deal with all the burdens of our neighbors, it is pleasant to know, to see, and to explore. There is a place you can never imagine, that is in Djibouti. We came for the weekend, but the family lives here. It's already our country. Tourism has developed here in Arta. This attraction is certainly due to nature, but also the culture of welcome, openness, and attachment of the artists of their quality. A population that has been able to enhance every encounter with holidaymakers. There are walks here and there, even in the mountains or on the main roads, and we even see faces that have not been recognized in time, and it is good to see. To raise the level of tourism in Djibouti and Arta, the region is home to a key institution in this field. Sunny here, or Sectoral Training Center, is the hotel and tourism sector. In addition to providing high-quality training to make this sector competitive, the center has facilities worthy of a real seaside town. A must for all lovers of good food, relaxation, and an expansional view. A successful gamble for the Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, which has managed to make the center a place of reference for learning the hotel and tourism professions, with concert models that allows learners to work in a professional environment and become the elite in this field. All this to the great satisfaction of the Djiboutians as a whole, according to Said Miguel, director of the Sunny Hill catering industry. That's the kind of guy who takes advantage of it. We always have it from customers all the time in the center. This has priority for the restaurant and the kitchen. Afterwards, we work on a basic technique called HACCP, which is hygienic. There are pathogenic germs. It's not just the conflict in the restaurant.
Now, within the framework of the fight against the COVID-19 pandemic, the regional branch of the Red Crescent in Dikil is continuing its awareness activities against the spread of the COVID-19 this past Monday in the locality of Mulut. These activities composed of hand-washing demonstration, distribution of flyers, sensitization on the wearing of masks, as well as social distancing were carried out by the volunteers and the coordinator of the branch in the presence members of the committee to the branch of Dikhil and the sub-prefecture of this locality of Mulut. News flash now. The Navy's semaphore from Muluhle to Obok detected a suspicious vessel coming from the Yemeni coast. Immediately, the Navy Commando section stationed at the isolated post of Muluhle intervened to intercept the boat. The boat was carrying 77 Ethiopian stowaways on board, including 3 wounded men from Yemen. However, a team from the French Navy and Coast Guard OPGs were deployed in the area for investigation. Since May 2020, a clandestine immigration from Yemen started due to the conflict. Several thousands of Ethiopian migrants are scattered along the Yemeni coast waiting to be transported to the Djiboutian coast and especially to Obok region. It is with this in mind that a mechanism consisting of the Navy, the Coast Guard, and the Obok Joint Regiment is working to counter this flow of migrants, also to stop the contamination and the spread of the COVID-19 among the local population. Moving on to international news now, it's official. Donald Trump has initiated the process to remove the United States from the World Health Organization. Let's listen to this report.
It's official. President Donald Trump has withdrawn the United States from the World Health Organization, which he accuses of having mishandled the coronavirus pandemic, a U.S. senator announced Tuesday. Halimatation. The Congress has received notification that the president has officially withdrawn the United States from the WHO in the midst of a pandemic. Robert Menendez, a Democratic member of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, wrote on Twitter. In the aftermath, the information was confirmed to AFP by several U.S. government officials. The notification will take effect after a one-year delay. On 6 July 2021, several U.S. government officials, the organization's biggest contributor, said.
Nearly 50 million Africans could slide into extreme poverty as a result of the economic consequences of the coronavirus epidemic, the African Development Bank AFDB said in a report published on Thursday. Let's listen to them.
Fall into extreme poverty due to the economic consequences of the coronavirus epidemic, the African Development Bank said in a report published on Tuesday, July 7th. While the institution's previous forecasts predicted that 1/3 of Africans, or 425 million people, would be living below the poverty line with less than $1.19 per day in purchasing power parity in 2020. The impact of the pandemic is expected to greatly worsen the situation, the AFDB says in its African Economic Outlook. After Oceania, Africa is the continent least affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The continent and its 1.2 billion people have exceeded 500 million cases of infection, including more than 11,700 deaths. according to a July 8 count from the American Johns Hopkins University. Nevertheless, the global economic crisis triggered by the pandemic is hitting it hard.
This is it for this edition of 9 p.m. Thank you for watching us. Now we will listen to the President Gele, another part of his speech, to the formulation of a series of ideas conducive to realization of greater mutual assistance among the nations of the world around the problem and challenges related to the world of work. Thank you for watching us. Have a wonderful night.